Table of contents. So we did this last Thursday, classification of real numbers, and today what we're going to do is converting rational numbers. And I did not put in the page, but we can update that the next time, so pay attention the next lesson that I put in, okay? So what you have is we are going to go ahead and turn it. Remember, we did this whole lesson together, and we're going to flip the page. And my pages are going to be pages 5 and 6. So I guess I can go ahead and do that. So pages 5 through 6. And my was 3 and 4. Okay? Now, I've already cut all mine out. So if you need to pause the video, so for example, this is the foldable that we're going to do, and I need to cut on these dotted lines, and I did not do it. Uh-oh, and I lost my scissors. Hold on. Okay. So if you notice, I already have all of this cut out, so maybe you could use this time as I cut those. I have cut everything out, ready to go. So go ahead and pause it while you do that. Alright, so I went ahead and finished this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. And so I know I always tell you to use liquid glue, but this is all I had at home tonight. And yes, Miss K is actually working at 10 o'clock at night. So go ahead. Now, a lot of you did this in 6th grade, so this should not be new, but after your pre-assessment, I noticed that a lot of you were making some really simple mistakes, and so I just want to go back and review and kind of clear things up a little bit and make sure that we're all on the same page. I know you all had different teachers last year, and sometimes teachers do it a little bit differently. Okay? So, we are going to start here. And I'm going to title it, I'm going to be boring today. You guys have colored paper. I've just got a black and blue pen. I left all my supplies at school, but that's okay. We are going to convert. And I'm sorry, my kitchen table sometimes shakes a little bit. So convert rational numbers. And many times we have to convert. So for example, if we're adding decimals and then we have a fraction, we need to convert that to a decimal to be able to do the mathematical computation. Okay? Now the first one, actually, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put what I can do. That's my goal, is to make sure that you know how to convert successfully. All right, let's take a look at this. So many times when I have you in the classroom, I'll let one of you pick one. I know that your teacher taught you a lot of strategies, Dr. P, Top Dog, say the name, but be careful, okay? Unless you know what you're doing mathematically, the strategies and the tricks are to help you, but unless you understand what's actually going on, then we need to backtrack a little bit. Okay, why do we do Top Dog? Why do we move the decimal place for Dr. P? Okay? All right, so the first one, let's say a decimal to a percent. And we know that percentages are out of a whole, right? But we don't have a decimal in it. So it's definitely a part of a whole. And then the decimal. So if we had a decimal, actually, let's see. Out of all of our, if you notice, this one right here, here we have a decimal, and we have a percentage. What did I do with that decimal? Because I don't have one here, do I? I moved it 2 spaces to the right. Yeah, I multiplied it times 100. That's what a percentage means. It's out of 100. Okay? So we're going to open that up, glue that down. And I'm going to find we're going to move 2 places to the right. Go ahead and mark that down. And all we're doing is we are multiplying the decimal times 100. something mathematical is actually happening there. We're making the number bigger, per se. Or it looks, I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing to say mathematically. It looks bigger, but they are this exact same value. Okay? All right, let's do the opposite. What if we're taking a percent, oh, wrong one, a percent to a decimal? Okay, and I noticed the one with 42%. Okay, so we'll go ahead and leave that one open. Now, if I multiply times 100 here to get 75%, what am I doing here? Yeah, I'm dividing by 100 because that's what 42% is. It's 42, and if I were to write it as a fraction, it would be over 100, wouldn't it? Okay? All right, so go ahead and glue that down. This is going to be a reference for you. So as you work through the next couple weeks, I want you to refer to, oh my goodness, how do I go back and do that again? All right. And here we are. To convert the fraction to a, oh, wrong one. Nope, wrong one. I'm used to writing them. So we're going to remove the percent sign, and we're going to move decimal 2 places to the left. And mathematically, we're dividing by 100. Okay? Whenever you're moving a decimal place, you are either multiplying or you are dividing. All right. All right, 2 down, 4 to go. What about a fraction to a decimal? And I think that this is probably the favorite one out of all of them, or at least the story and the trick and the strategy that you do. So if I have a fraction and I'm going to convert it to a decimal, yes, it's division. That's what fractions are. It's 1 out of, if I divided a whole into 8 parts, I want to know how much 1 part equals in decimal form. And that's why I'm going to divide. The 1, you divide your numerator divided by your denominator. Okay? And yes, the easy way to remember that, many of you learned top dog. And I know I don't really like to teach you the tricks, but I'm going to write the tricks down here because I know for some of you it really does help. But remember what you're doing mathematically, okay? Wrong one. Which one is it? Divide the numerator. And that's what we're doing. It's just division and converting it to in decimal form. Okay? All right. I could have had you write all these. All right. A fraction to a percent. So here, uh-oh, no, I lost one. Oh no, where did it go? I bet you I threw it away. But you know what, I'm gonna make my own. Or you may have it, and then you can tell me what it was. All right, so let's look at the ones that I do have. Okay, a fraction to a percent, okay? So we already know how to convert a decimal to a percent, right? But I have a fraction. But I just learned how to convert a fraction to a decimal. So really, a fraction to percent is just going to be 2 steps, isn't it? Okay? And I know some of you, we're going to go into multiplying and dividing decimals. We're going to review that, just not right here. Okay? And here are the instructions. Just like I said, we convert the fraction to a decimal, and then we move the decimal 2 places to the right and add the percent sign. And when we move to the right, what are we doing? We are multiplying it times 100. Okay? So you are going to use this extensively, especially I'm going to give you a little bit of homework to do. All right, here I have a percentage to a, it looks like we're ending up with a fraction here. Okay, so a percent to a fraction. I glue that right here. And yes, I am missing the one and I don't know what happened to it. Oh well. Let's see if it went over here. And I hate to give you a new problem, as you probably have your own cutout there. All right, so we are going to write the percent over 100, and then you simplify. I know a lot of you struggle with simplification. You know, you can always start off with 2. I see that they are both even numbers, right? And this one happened, the greatest common factor is 2. So 42 divided by 2 would give you 21, and 100 divided by 2 gives you 50. All right. There we go. And the last one is a decimal to a fraction. And here's the one I'm going to have to make up, but we're going to write the decimal over 100. And like I said, I lost my little card. I'm so sorry. So what we're going to do is, let's pretend it's 0.25. Okay? And then you write it over 100. And we're going to simplify it. That's right. 25 is a common factor. 25 divided by 25 is 1. And 100 divided by 25 is 4. Okay? Go ahead and glue that down. All right. Now the next part, what I kind of wanted to do is just kind of go over some of the strategies that you've learned in the past, just so it can jog your memory, just to bring in what teachers have taught you in the past. So whenever we're talking about decimals, decimal to percent or percent to decimal, we use the strategy Dr. Pepper or Dr. Phillips, okay? But if I come by or somebody asks you, what is Dr. P? You need to tell them, well, if you're going from a decimal to a percent, you're multiplying times 100. Okay, if you're moving from a percentage, you're dividing by 100, okay, mathematically. All right, and the strategy that you learned here for fraction to decimal, you said it, top dog. Right, the top dog gets the house, a bone, and 2 treats. Okay, just a quick way to remember that, especially when you're dividing and they don't work out evenly, you're going to have to put a decimal, add 2 zeros, because you're going to have to go into the tenths and the hundredths spot for place value. All right, if we fraction to percent, yeah, you would have to do top dog first and Dr. P. Okay, and the percent to a fraction is the opposite. Well, you rewrite, I'm not going to reiterate that. That's pretty common sense. But the decimal to a fraction, you're going to say the name. And what does that mean? If you notice that this is the 10th place value and the 100th. So if I say the name 25 hundredth, okay? Pretty straightforward. All right, I'm going to have to make this short and sweet, but on the opposite, you will fill this out completely. And you have a homework assignment, and I am racing because I can only put 15 minutes in for a video, but this is self-explanatory. For number 1, what you would do, rewrite this as a fraction, pick it,